My name is Union Zanov, and I am your Biology 2600 lab instructor. I made this video to help you get set up with R in RStudio, which is the Lab 2 pre-lab. We're going to be using R in 3 labs, so and I know that I'm hoping most of you guys have used it in first year, but if you haven't, I'm going to start from the beginning and get you all set up. So, open up your internet browser, go to online.mon.ca. So I'm already logged in, but if you're not, just put in your Mon credentials and you should log in. Select your 2600 course shell, go down to labs, and when you click on lab 2 pre-lab, this has everything that you're going to need to get set up here. So there's an information file, which gives you a little bit of info on what's going on, some contacts in case you have questions. In case I forget to mention, Lab 3 doubles as the literature assignment discussion lab and also help for the Lab 2 pre-lab. So if you have any questions, you can either email any of these people or you can come to Lab 3 and ask questions. And so this is your assignment here. When you submit this, you get 1%. And so I'm going to go through that now. So, first thing you're going to do is, in case I forget to mention it, your introductory guide from 1002 is right here. You can click on it and it'll open up in case you want some in-depth or more detail information. So, this is the link to R. You click on that, it should open up, maybe, hopefully. Yep, okay, wonderful. And so, depending on what you have, if you have a PC, you can click on Windows. I'm hoping to make another video for PC users, but most of it is pretty much the same, so this should work for both. So if you have Windows, click here. I have a Mac, so I'm going to click here. If you bought your laptop after 2020, so if it's brand new, click on this. Otherwise, click on this, and then it's going to download. So in case you don't know where downloads are, while it's doing that, you can go to Finder and you hit downloads here, and so here it is downloading. Alternatively, it might be down here on your computer, or you can click on the magnifying glass and type in downloads and it should pop up. When it's ready, you can double click it and then just follow the instructions. Continue, sure, install, type in your password for your computer if you have one, and it's usually pretty quick and easy. So, it asks you if you want to delete the downloaded file. I always do because you don't need it on your computer. So it's installed, but the file that you used to download is gone. So that is R. We're not going to be using R. R is kind of the code and the software that does all the hard calculations, but it's not pretty to look at. RStudio, on the other hand, is pretty to look at. So if you click on that link, sorry, getting ahead of myself. So yeah, so we just downloaded R, and now you click on the RStudio download, it'll bring you to a page where you download that. Scroll down, and you're going to select the first thing, which says free. It should automatically detect what kind of computer you have. If not, you get a bunch of options down here, Windows, Mac, and then a bunch of Linux ones. So mine is here, so I click on that. Same thing happens, I believe. had to download and delete and re-download and reinstall this about 6 times just to get this video done nice and pretty. So while that's doing that, I'm here to help in any way, and I'll mention that 1,000 times, but I really am. So you can't ask stupid questions because they don't exist as far as I'm concerned. You can't ask too many questions. Whatever you need, the only thing I can't do is read your mind. So if you have a problem and you tell me, I'll find a solution that you're happy with, but you just gotta tell me. Anyways, that's downloaded. Double click on that, and you should go for the same idea. So it comes up on my screen here. So I'm gonna grab it from here and bring it down. Nope, not. Put it in applications. Maybe, we'll see. Anyway, that doesn't matter. So the point is, it's downloaded, and you have everything installed. Next, you're gonna do some. Actually, let's open it up. So double click it. Double click the RStudio icon, and I'm gonna tell you a little bit about it. So when you open it up, you should have 4 panes or windows. All right, and sure enough, we do. So this is your source window. This is your console. This is your environment, history, etc. And this is your files, plots, and etc. pane. So sometimes you don't have this one. All you have to do is go to File, New File, and select our script, and it'll open up here. So your source pane, which is right here, this is where all your code is going to be. So you write all your code, add in any information, and this is the file that you're going to save. If you want to test chunks of your code to make sure that they're correct, if you want to test the whole thing, you can copy them from this window into your console window down here and do what is called executing or evaluating. So it actually runs the code, and if no errors pop up, that means your code is good, and move on to the next bit. Yes, so over here you have your environment history connections etc. window. So this shows objects that you open, so I'll talk about that in a second. And down here you have files, so files are listed like they would be on your computer, and you see the directory, so which files are in which folders, etc. Your plots come up here. If you want to install different types of packages, you can do that. So packages are little bits of code or little data sets that people have made up that are convenient to just do stuff with or use as a sample data set, for example, that you can test other bits of code on. So the ones that are installed and active on your computer have a check mark next to them. So basic R package, that makes sense. If you put a check mark next to them, another one, that'll activate it. So I think a common one that you guys used in first year is this. And it's not working. There we go. So if you click on install, you can go ggplot2, click on that, install, and you can see a bunch of stuff happening over here, which means it is downloading. And so you can do that with different packages and datasets. And that should be ready to go there. Anyways, so you also have some help here. So you can just click right here to get tutorials. You can type questions here, not questions. You can type info about different packages, so package names or commands. Here, another good resource is Google. Like I tell everybody, if you have a problem, Google it, and Google doesn't know, you don't need to know. No, there might be some hard to find on Google sometimes, but it should be there. Anyways, so if we go back to Brightspace, I have some sample code here, so I'm going to click on that and I'm going to download it so that we can get this party started. So again, it's downloaded. I'm going to go double click and go open with, the default is R. You don't actually want to use R. We're going to stick to RStudio. So select RStudio. Sure. Alternatively, if you have it there and you already have RStudio open, you can just go File and find it that way. So this is the code. This is the code. It's sample code. There's a couple of sample instructions here. All the instructions that you need for the second lab are going to be in here. You just have to modify them slightly so that you can use them for that lab. So the important things, so you're going to be doing 3 things. Importing data sets, so it shows you how to do that here. Calculating means, and then making some figures. So if we go back, I'm going to download these 2 test files. Download. So everything that is up here that's in green is commands. So if you put a hashtag, it will not be read as code. So you can have like little tips or little bits of information in there. Anything you want to add after the hashtag, that's how you do that. Down here, if you get this symbol here, that means it is ready to go, waiting on your commands. So first thing we're going to do is make sure that we know where the files are. Now, before we even do that, this command right here clears everything. So if you get halfway through it and things don't start working, clear it, start over. It's one way to do it. Really, you should do that every time. Oh. So I just selected that. I'm going to go Command C or Control C on a PC, and Command C or Command V. Let's just do it the old-fashioned way. Copy. Paste. All right. So I never had anything going there, but it would have cleared it if I did. So next thing you're going to do is set your directory. And you go to Session, go down to Set Working Directory, and you're going to choose Directory. So those 2 files that I just downloaded are 99.9% going to go to your Downloads folder. So Downloads, and sure enough, here they are. So organisms pool test, organisms riffle test, and in your downloads folder, organisms pool test, organisms riffle test. So if you select download here, you go open, it shows you that you set your working directory to downloads, and now that's going to solve about 84% of your problems. The commands are set up to be used straight with these files, so we're going to read that file and import it. So if you just copy this command, Command C and Command V, and then hit enter right here, you can see that that file is now open. So you click on that, it opens up over here. You got some groups of insects, you got some data on them. I wouldn't worry about that. It's going to make more sense next or in lab 2. And the means are not filled in or calculated. So we have that one imported. There's some other commands here that you can try out. It's pretty cool. I would do it. But that file is open, so that's important. Command C, Command V, enter. You also have your riffle file. You can click on it and see that that is certainly there as well. To calculate means, I'm going to calculate, copy and paste this. Now you can see how the cursor is down here and not on the right after the free. That doesn't make a difference, but sometimes it does because little spaces can destroy everything. So just for my own peace of mind, I'm going to go backspace and then I'm going to hit enter. Now it looks like nothing happened, right? But, and I'm kind of going through this a little bit quickly, so let's just go back up here. So organisms pool test, so this is the name that you're going to call this file when you, or this file when you import it. So this you can name this whatever you want. It could be your first and last name, doesn't matter. And it'll refer to this data by this name. So that's what you're doing here, and you're reading this file and it imports it. To calculate the mean, so you're using this file, you're doing the mean, and what you're doing is you're looking at columns 2, 3, and 4 from that data file, adding those together, goes to the plus signs, and you're dividing by 3. So the code is not just random voodoo, it does make sense. And to look at a file, you just type in the name of that file. So if we do that, you hit enter, and sure enough, you see this is all your data, but now we actually have our means done. And so if you click on that file, now when it comes up, you have your means filled in. And so if you go to riffle, riffle is not done yet, we're going to do that next. This is the command for, command, and if you click on riffle, sure enough, your values are there. So essentially the commands are there, you just have to follow them. A couple of things, well actually I'm going to make these bar plots. If you were to make a bar plot, you select that command and sure enough your bar plot appears up here. You got your numbers, organisms, etc. and you're going to need to actually put that in. So if you look closely at this command, you can see that that is there. So bar plot, because you're doing a bar plot, you're using this file and you're using the means within that file. Y-axis label, this is the label for the y-axis, you can see that right here. And the names for each column are right here, and they're the ones that appear on the bottom. I'll kind of squish it up. That's actually a good point. If you don't see something, if you open up your window, you'll see it. So I'm going to do the other one just so I can show you something else. And sure enough, there is your second one, and everything looks just like the first. So your first one didn't disappear. You have these arrows here, so you can go back and forth. This is useful because your plots are here and you can actually export them. So you can save as a file or as a PDF, sorry, as an image or a PDF. And then you can choose wherever you want to save them, file format, and you can name it whatever you want. So I'm going to let you guys play around with that. Before lab 2. So for your actual assignment, Let's just make sure I covered everything. So the environment, which is up here, shows you things that you have opened or done. So some other things that you can do, like let's say x equals 1, enter. You can see now value for x will be 1. You can go y equals 5. That comes up here, and then you can go x plus y. And just go enter, and your answer is 6. All of the values that you assign will come up here. You have history, so this shows you all the commands that you've run, just in case you lose something or whatnot. Files, cover that, packages, help, Google, yep. Alright, so last thing. Two things, actually. So, for this specific assignment, all I want you to do is take a screenshot of something like this. Oh, so, give it up. So the reason I want this is because I can see everything that I need to see. So one, I can see that you have RStudio installed. So I know that you've downloaded and installed RStudio. You can install RStudio without R, so I know you've also installed that. The fact that your files showed up here means that you have downloaded and imported those successfully, and your name or something close to your name will come up here so that I know you actually did this on your computer. So if you take this screenshot, upload it to the Lab2 pre-lab submission folder on Brightspace, that'll get you 1%. You don't need to go through many of these commands, like you don't need the graphs and all that stuff for today. Just want you to install the software and import these two files and show me that it is actually your computer. One other thing I'm going to do, which is important because you're going to have to do it for Lab 2, is saving files. So you're not going to copy and paste this into something else. We're going to actually save this as an R file. So I'm going to go right here and type in new file. No. And so you always want to add your hashtag before that, so that doesn't read it as code. New file. So, file, save as. I'm going to save it as 2. Save it in my downloads. Why not? Save. And then I'm going to close this. Oh, and I'll show you now. If you go, oh crap. Actually, let's do it now. File, open file. This is my downloads. So you could see Streamlab 2. So let's click on that. Open, and here it is. This is new file. If I did this with the other file, which I initially started with, which is this one, that doesn't have that, so everything saved successfully. And this is the file that you're gonna upload along with your report for Lab 2. Anyways, I'll show you this command here. So this is the command that clears everything. If you hit enter, so you see all of the stuff up here has now been cleared. So I think that covers everything. Cannot stress that I am here to answer questions. I've been home looking at a computer making videos for the last year. I would love some human interaction. Please drop by and answer questions if you have any. I would be more than happy to help you. That's it.